Fox News alert, a recording of Joe Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur has just been released. Axios got its hands on about 8 minutes. We'll play some of it for you in a second. Robert Hur had been appointed special counsel by the Biden Justice Department to investigate Joe Biden's mishandling of classified documents during and after his vice presidency. Classified documents were discovered in sloppily packed boxes in Joe Biden's garage next to his Corvette and inside his home office. At the same time Biden was raiding Mar-a-Lago and indicting Trump for mishandling classified documents, his handlers were scrambling to locate the classified documents that Biden had mishandled. Now, Biden, as VP, didn't have the constitutional authority to possess any classified documents. So after Robert Hur interviewed President Joe Biden, he released a report. The report stated that Joe Biden had mishandled classified documents, but because he was a, quote, sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, he declined to recommend charges.
Well, the Biden tapes have dropped, and they are a bombshell. And you remember when this whole thing started, when Robert Hur, who was assigned special counsel to investigate Joe Biden and the mishandling of documentation, the Democrats and the left-wing mainstream media crucified this guy and said, oh, yeah, he's not a doctor. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Joe Biden's mental acuity is A+. He's right on board. He's on top of everything. He's doing backflips. In this video, I'm going to let you hear. You're going to hear the excerpts from this interview with Joe Biden and just how terrible it is, what they tried to pull off on the American people, just how bad this man's memory was. Now, before that, though, we're going to remember exactly how people like Shifty Schiff tried to embarrass Robert Hur, and you're going to find out exactly what the White House tried to do behind the scenes to stop his report from even coming out. You see, it came out and they were fighting him and getting on to him about why he said what he said, but prior to that, there was a strong push to completely block it, and you're going to be amazed by what the White House tried to do. Now, let's remember this. Joe Biden had documents from when he was a senator and a vice president, where you're supposed to only review them in what's called a SCIF. And a SCIF is a room where you go into, you can't take phones in there with you. You can't take anything out. It's supposed to be a secure facility where you can look at important classified documentation. Joe Biden had those at his home, but when he was a senator and a VP. Now, they tried to compare that with Trump, who under the Presidential Records Act has the right to declassify any document he wants. Another tidbit is that how they talk about Joe Biden had his documents factually in a garage with his Corvette, which was unsecured, unguarded, that Hunter Biden and any other guest that went to that Delaware house had access to. Donald Trump, on the other hand, and Mar-a-Lago had documents under 24-hour secure guard. Okay. And we found out now that the FBI spread out the documents in Donald Trump's home to make it look like he sloppily handled them. And it came out and the FBI was exposed, manipulating evidence to try to make President Trump look bad. His case was dropped. His case was thrown out by a judge because they said, yo, this is BS. Where Joe Biden's, the only reason he wasn't prosecuted is because Robert Hur said the man's mental capacity was so bad, no jury would prosecute him. But let's get off into this video, and we're gonna revisit what Adam Shifty Schiff did. Then you're gonna hear, I'm gonna show you exactly what the White House tried to do to block it, and then we're gonna hear some excerpts from this bombshell recording. So let me get into this of Shifty Schiff. These Democrats get on my nerves because what today they label a right-wing conspiracy turns out tomorrow to be an American fact.
What is in the rules, Mr. Hur, what is in the rules is you don't gratuitously do things to prejudice the subject of an investigation when you're declining to prosecute. You don't gratuitously add language that you know will be useful in a political campaign. You were not born yesterday. You understood exactly what you were doing. It was a choice. You certainly didn't have to include that language. You could have said vis-a-vis the documents that were found at the university, the president did not recall. There is nothing more common. You know this, I know this. There is nothing more common with a witness of any age when asked about events that are years old to say, I do not recall. Indeed, they're instructed by their attorney to do that if they have any question about it. You understood that. You made a choice. That was a political choice. It was the wrong choice. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Arizona. Did special counsel wish to respond to that final question?
Yes, Congressman, what you are suggesting is that I shape, sanitize, omit portions of my reasoning and explanation to the Attorney General for political reasons.
No, I suggest that you not shape your report for political reasons, which is what you did.
That did not happen, Congressman. That did not happen.
So as you see, Adam Shifty Schiff is really upset at her for telling the truth. That's really what it all boiled down to. It was just because he told the truth. See, the Democrats wanted her to do what the lamestream media did to us for 4 years, which is say, hey, listen, don't trust your lying eyes. Listen to what we're telling you. We're going to tell you what you're actually seeing. That's not Joe Biden is not mentally losing it. That's your eyes. That's deep fake. That's cheap fake. It's not real. Now listen to what the White House tried to do to block it.
So is it correct on that February 5th letter that was sent to you asking you to change references to the president's poor memory? Wasn't there a request by the White House to do that?
There was a request, yes.
And Mr. Chairman, I think the record should show that the gentleman from Maryland earlier said that that was not the case. I think he said, nor did he seek to redact a single word of Hur's report. Obviously, Mr. Hur is telling us differently here. And didn't the White House then go to the Attorney General himself and say that he would like to see changes to the references in regards to the president's memory?
The White House counsel did send such a letter.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a Cash App or for a super chat, but I will ask you for a like because it helps the channel help spread the information around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. And that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So you got the White House counsel reaching out to Robert Hur and his boss, Attorney General Merrick Garland, saying, hey, listen, we don't like what you put in that. Change that. Take that out, omit this. So they wanted them to alter and manipulate the report, the investigation into whether Joe Biden had those documents there illegally. And the fact that he did, and that he was losing it mentally, and this special prosecutor was being honest. They want to say, oh, he was a Trump appointee, as if that matters. As if just because he was a Trump appointee, both things can be right or true at the same time. And that's these Democrats' problem. They always act like two things can be right at the same time. Is President Trump cutting Medicaid? Yes. But is it because of waste, fraud, and abuse? Yes. So it's not always cutting Medicaid. Things are bad for everybody. These people just want to lie and manipulate. So now, without further ado, Axios released the tapes, and we're going to get into it. And man, brace yourself, because it's worse than what I actually thought. So, you know, without any further ado, I hope you enjoy this.
So during this time, we were living in Chambers Road, and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden for the cancer failure shot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. They're not a mean thing to say, but he just thought that she had a better shot of winning the presidency than I did. And so I hadn't at this point, even though I'm at Penn, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I might run for office again. If I ran again, I'd be running for president. And so what was happening though, one month ago died, May 30th, 2015 he died. 2015. I think it's 2015.
I'm not sure the months are, but I think it was.
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. President.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017, 2016. All right. So, why not 2017 here?
That's when you left office, in January of 2017.
Okay. But that's when Trump gets sworn in.
Right,
January.
right, correct.
Okay, yeah. And in 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis of the book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm, and that was my left. These guys were a year and a day apart, and they could finish each other's sentences. And Bo, I used to go home on the train in the period that I was still in the Senate. Anyway, I can't remember. There was pressure, not pressure. Bo knew how much I adored him. And maybe it sounds so. Everybody knew how close we were. There was not anybody in the world who wondered whether or not. Anyway. And so.
Sir, I'm wondering if it's a good time to take a break briefly.
No, let me just keep going to get it done.
Man, so there you have it, and we can hear it for ourselves. Joe Biden definitely was not with it. He couldn't remember the year his son died. He kept saying 2017 and talked about being in the Senate and taking the train. And he was doing that whole thing where he's acting like he's going for a thought and he just shuts down in any way. And it actually makes you feel bad for the person on a individual humanistic level, unless you're just straight evil. Not the actions of the man or the ideologies of the man, but just at that moment, it's just an old man trying to relive the passing of a child that he can't remember, when he was running for office, when he wasn't, got his years all jumbled up, was shutting down. It's sad. What was even worse is that this is who the Democrats tried to pass off and push us into voting for another 4 years, knowing this man did not have the mental capacity to do it. There's even a report that have come out, a medical report that said Joe Biden had failed so much that if he failed one more time, that he would actually be paralyzed. And it's just wicked what they tried to do. But hey, listen, if you stuck in and you watched it this far, I really do appreciate you. But I want to know, how do you feel about what you just heard? Does it upset you? I mean, I'm sure, feeling bad for old man, that's one thing. But what about what the Democrats tried to do to us? What they tried to pass off? And once they realized he wasn't going to fly, they installed Kamala, who low key was even worse than an incapacitated Joe Biden, because she was sane, if we want to call it that. But she would have drove us right off the cliff intentionally. Joe was just more so being guided and led and told what he was doing and using the auto pen. Either which way, we cannot ever let these Democrats get reelected and regain power. These folks are evil. And look what they did to this old man, rather than let him just enjoy his twilight years, forcing him to get out there and be on center stage, knowing that he didn't have the faculty to do so. So it's just sad, man. And if you stuck in this long, I really thank you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, I want you to be safe and you stay great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.